We'd like to take a minute here at Redline Radio LLC to thank all of our great sponsors. Detroit Auto Parts is the official parts store of Redline Radio and home of our original studio. With two convenient locations, one on the east side, you can call 216-531-7373, or on the west side, and that west side location is also the home of Redline Radio Studio number 1. You can call them at 216-398-7373. At either location, mention Redline Radio and get 10% off your purchase. Speaking of sponsors that sponsor stations, Growing Wings Adult Services is the official sponsor of the state-of-the-art Studio number 2. Growing Wings Adult Services has over 7 years experience taking care of adults with disabilities. For more information, contact Lisa today at 234-334-7547. And as testified by all their satisfied customers, Dynatech's diamond saw blades are the fastest cutting, longest lasting. Customer satisfaction is how we measure success at Dynatech, and our engineers are always available to help you troubleshoot and solve a problem on your job site. Dynatech is the only saw blade company recommended by the pavement marking manufacturing industry. They're located in Elyria, Ohio. Dynatech is committed to being the top diamond saw blade company around the world. You can contact Dynatech today at 1-800-466-9001, or you can visit their website at dynatech.com. NASCAR fans, if you're looking at getting specialized past or present NASCAR diecast and model car kits, you reach out to Pit Road Diecast. Bill Rabbits and the team are there for all your diecast needs. Call them today, 216-355-2347. Mention Redline Radio and get $5 off your in-store purchase. Let's not forget about the official merchandise provider of all things Redline Radio. That would be Incredible Keepsakes. T-shirts, cups, binders, keychains, you name it, Incredible Keepsakes can make it. The official merchandise provider for Redline Radio LLC and our show hosts. Call Mike and Diane today at 440-242-9648 or check out all their great merchandise at IncredibleKeepsakes.com. As Diane always says, cherished moments are made to last forever. Let's talk about home improvement. When we talk home improvement, we talk Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement. Bathrooms, kitchens, windows, doors, siding, radio stations, and so much more. Residential or commercial, call Will today, 440-731-7654, and tell him Redline Radio sent you. Bad Juju still remains the official band of Redline Radio LLC, covering all your favorites from the 80s and 90s. To book Bad Juju today, contact Chad Moon at 440-458-0209. Lucy's Pub is where we go when we like to unwind after a busy day. Located at 2218 Broadview Road in Cleveland, Ohio, Michelle and the staff at Lucy's are always committed to giving their guests the best experience. Join them every Friday night for karaoke and, of course, all your hometown sports games. Call them today, 216-675-0013. Stock car racing fan? I am. The premier stock car racing series in Northeast Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. Redline Radio is proud to sponsor the Ohio Wheelman Series. Still looking for sponsors for 2023? No better way to get your logo out there than on the fastest street stocks in the state. Not to mention, local racers are some of the most loyal people when it comes to supporting local sponsors. Reach out to Will Wiggins today about how you can be a part of the Ohio Wheelman Series. Driveway looking a little rough? Well, we know who to call. ACS, Affordable Concrete Solutions, LLC. Call them today at 440-714-1987 or go to their website, Affordable Concrete Solutions, LLC. You can also email them at Affordable Concrete Solutions, LLC gmail.com. Looking to advertise with a radio station? Get a hold of Dave at Redline Radio at 440-503-0828. And for all of our programming information, check out redlineradiolllc.com. You know what else we got there? A 24-hour live radio station playing all kinds of music all day and all night. You can also check us out on social media at Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, LinkedIn. And if you want to take Redline Radio on the go with you, download the Redline Radio LLC app on the Google Play Store.
Warning, Money's Crazy Mind contains language that may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised, but will be completely ignored.
I'm sick of it, doing right, doing wrong. Parents pissed off every time I write a song. Smoke, crack, worship Satan, what the fuck is that? It's something funny, made for you to laugh at.
You're destroying America with your rap.
You're so full of shit I need to call hazmat. The only way I would ever apologize is if I had my face buried in your sister's thighs. Okay, I'm sorry for what it's worth, but the best part of you was the afterbirth. If you can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. Nah, 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 and I fucked your sister. If you can't take a fucking joke, then go jump in the river. La, 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 and I fucked your sister.
Okay. Well, when your guest is laughing at your theme song, that's normally a pretty good sign. But we are back for the first time in, my God, probably 4-5 months in the Growing Wings Adult Services Studios. It's a fucking sauna in here, for one, because nobody's been here all day. So the air conditioning wasn't turned on. So there's that. But other than that, man, I mean, I'm back here in this creepy-ass fucking room. Apparently Nurse Ratched did not get my memo that we have a guest in the studio this week, and an important one at that, damn it. Nurse Ratched, you're fired. Shit. What's up, Dub? What's going on, Dave? We are back here. I forgot that I have raining money when I'm here in the studio, man. That is awesome. All right, but no bullshit, man. Let's just go ahead and just dive into the show. We're late anyway. Because I haven't been here in 4 months and I changed almost everything in the asylum. We're in a completely brand new asylum, man. But anyway, here she is, the wonderful, the beautiful Jessica Steffes, host of the Women's Health Summit.
How you doing?
Here at Redline Radio LLC. I'm so sorry that Nurse Ratched did not clean the blood and the inverted crosses and stuff off the walls. I'm sorry.
It is okay. I literally just kind of like tipped and then hoped for the best.
I got one of my fellow Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters, Matt, joining us on the chat this week. What's going on? Timbuktu, I see you. My wife, Megan, watching as well.
Matt who?
Matt Grenig.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. He's a fellow Ghostbuster
Yes.
guru? All right. All right.
My wife is watching. We got Dave saying, I'm always late. Go fuck off, Dave. Tim saying, what's up, Jess? Saying hi to my wife.
Tim?
Matt said, we got Dub saying, what's up, Deb? God damn, the chat blowing up, and we're not even 5 minutes into the show.
Everybody loves me.
I see that. But Matt saying, that's me. Dave saying, what's up, Jess?
What's up, Dave? What's up, Megan?
All right. So,
okay, I'm yelling.
You're fine. You're fine. But yeah, so first episode back in the studio. I've wanted to do guests, obviously, for the entire 4 months that I was out of the studio, but so hard to set guests up. Dave said he's sitting here with Lurch. Oh, great. Lurch is watching. But what's up, Lurch? Hopefully you guys like the graphics, some of the last graphics that came out. Matt saying, what's up, Jess? I guess, I don't know. He doesn't know if he knows you or not, but.
Oh, no, you probably don't. I was just asking.
Oh,
I just like
yeah,
throwing in questions. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're a fellow show host. You're allowed to do this. But so the reason you're here,
Yes.
first of all, the Women's Health Summit, it's becoming a very popular thing
That's what I hear.
at
It's
Redline Radio.
awesome.
That's amazing. We love having you do it because,
Yes.
it's obviously so important, which is part of the reason why you're here this week.
Absolutely.
He says, no worries, just being friendly. So tell us, like, you were not the original host of the Women's Health Summit.
No, in fact, after this summit, I will be putting together my anniversary.
Hey.
And Mr. Lex Vegas will be joining us as a new concept. I also asked him to be a part of the anniversary show because yes, it actually was his original concept. Yes.
Same with the Men's Health Summit that I have taken over.
Absolutely, yes. And I definitely want to give him credit for that because even though I've taken it and ran with it, it wouldn't have been here without his brain. So I definitely wanted to honor the fact that that's where it came from.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think we did a pretty good job of bringing that topic up on the first Men's Health Summit back that I did.
Mm-hmm. That was an intense summit. That was very intense.
No kidding.
Oh my goodness. The men have something to say for real.
Yeah. And I mean, that was the whole basis around it. And that's why we're renaming it The Car Ride.
I love that. That was good.
Yeah.
Now, who came up with that?
That was actually Josh, the other person that's responsible for the men's and women's health summit.
All right.
Being here. I might have to take the phone number down because it looks like the phone is broken still, but we'll get that fixed. I promise. Where was I going with it? Oh, so like Josh and Lex being in professional wrestling, that was kind of their thing. And that's something that you hear all the time from even the biggest names in WWE. Like when you're in that car, that's your time to talk. That's your time to vent.
I agree. Yeah.
And just traveling from city to city, especially in indie wrestling, you don't get the big spectacular jets like you get in WWE.
No, it's all,
it's
pretty rough.
Yeah.
They don't travel in luxury at all.
No.
It's basically your Humpty Dump all the way to wherever you got to go. So you got to have gas money. You got to have a good vehicle.
Tunes.
Or some really awesome friends.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where the name came from, was The Car Ride.
No, I like that.
That's how Lex and Josh started the whole thing.
Okay.
And I love that concept too. It's just guys just sitting around bullshitting like they would if they're in a car.
Pretty much in the same concept. That's kind of how I structured the Women's Summit. I didn't feel like it should all come from me because I am not an expert by any means. I just went through some major shit in my life and I kind of figured out how to live with it and how I got through it and how to live healthily, so I wanted to share that. But I, in my journey, have found that I'm not just teaching, I'm learning.
Right.
And the best people to learn from is people that have gone through shit, not necessarily your same shit, just shit in general. They're just living life and having to figure things out. And I found a lot of women that actually are treasures to my, they're my tribe. They're actually becoming more and more of my strength because every once in a while I get this feeling like I'm doing this for nothing, and when I hear somebody say something or share something I said, it hits me deep. It means something because that means that what I'm saying is true.
Yes. No. And that's why I love the way that both you and I are structuring the men's and women's
absolutely. I agree.
health summits and everything like that. Megan says we are here for you, Jess.
Thank you, Megan.
And I do think that it's very important. And after what happened to me last week,
yeah,
I think it's so important to look at yourself, look deep inside yourself, listen to what your body is telling you, and take I can talk, I promise. Precautions needed.
Right.
To look into that, which is another reason why I asked you to be here tonight, so we can kind of talk about some of those warning signs and things like that as well. But this month on the Women's Health Summit, I think you have a really specific and special topic
I do. I think the last one went way better than I thought it would. I really do. There was a lot of skepticism with my whole, accountability. I got a lot of scrap from the guys because they've been through some rough shit and don't believe that women are capable. But I think it turned out more beneficial to a lot more people than what I originally hoped for.
Which is always good.
Right. And that's what I'm sitting to do even in my latter months this year, is to do the hard topics, because healing is not just about the warm and fuzzies.
No, it is not. I'm repositioning the camera because I don't like the fact that I'm not looking into the camera.
That's okay. I don't even know what I'm looking at, like, virtually. Like, am I looking at you virtually, or if I'm just like off to this? Should I stare at this? See, I'm not a good podcaster.
You're 100% fine. Like I said, I normally bring my own camera with me, and I didn't this time because anybody trying to get into Berea right now, good luck.
Oh my God. I got lucky just to park right across from Sweet Mangoes, because it literally is a ridiculous, I've never seen it this full.
Like I said, I think it's the fireworks. I think Berea is doing their fireworks tonight, and I think that might be why the traffic has been.
It could be. They have little stands and stuff around here.
Yeah. And Coy Lake is like right behind us.
Yeah.
So, we're stuck in the middle of that epicenter. But so the topic this month, it's about
setting boundaries.
I like that topic. I like that idea.
I had the hardest time. That was probably, this one is going to hit home the hardest for me. Because I spent in my personal life, I spent 20 years in a marriage of being controlled. I didn't have any boundaries other than whatever my husband said. So unlearning that behavior has been extremely hard for me, and not feeling the guilt of saying no. That one's been tough, because with it carries a lot, especially when it's better for the person that you're telling no to, and they'll figure that out after they get it right. But it's the strength of saying no and sticking to your guns and watching them fall on their face and figure it out themselves. That was the hardest lesson I had to learn.
Yeah. No, it's a wonderful topic. I mean, especially for anybody that's either just getting into a divorce, just coming out of a divorce, or even just coming in and out of a bad relationship. I mean,
I would say it's not even about relationships. Just like I said, with the accountability, I learned how to set boundaries with my children. I had to set boundaries with my friends. I was the yes person. I wanted to be the people pleaser. Everybody was more important than me. And that's the hard lesson. And you have to slowly pull that. It's not an easy change at all.
Absolutely not.
And it has to start at home.
Yes.
If you can't even tell your children no, your spouse no, your sisters, your brothers, your mom, your dad, if you can't tell them no at some point, because that's just too much for you to handle right now, then that's work you got to do.
And that's kind of what happened with me last week. I'm seeing 3 different doctors right now. I had to get a heart rate monitor.
How old are you?
38.
That's not right. You should not have that many doctors at your age.
Well, one is for my knee, because I injured my knee in my last job, and we're still trying to figure out what the hell happened to it.
Wow.
So, I mean, this has been a year and a half, almost a 2-year journey so far that I've been going through. But it's also workers' comp, so workers' comp moves at a snail's pace.
It's okay.
So there's that doctor, and they just sent me to my 3rd orthopedic surgeon to try, and he's just like, well, now I want to start over from the beginning.
What?
So I need to.
What?
Yeah, I need to start this whole thing from the beginning. Look at it from day one, get all the way up to the current, and I'm just like, oh. So I had that going.
Does that include physical therapy too?
God, I hope not.
I really hope not, because if they're starting you all the way over, that would suck. That would really suck.
Yeah, I went through that 4 times, and I don't think I can.
No, I just had to go through it one time. That was enough, and she was a bitch. I mean, I loved her, but she was a bitch.
See,
I mean, they're supposed to be that way, but
right.
still.
All my guys were great. So
no. She told me because I broke my wrist.
Lisa.
I broke my wrist and
thank you.
On my dominant hand.
Oof.
So I had to relearn how to use everything, and she would not let me leave physical therapy until I was able to write the alphabet holding a 5-pound weight and tracing it in the air. That is a son of a bitch, and she's a bitch for making me do it, but I did it, and I'm happy that I did it.
Yeah, so, I had that going on, and this was the week leading up to that appointment.
Right.
That appointment was just this past Monday. Because of me not working a stable job until just recently, we're crawling out of a financial hole.
Yeah.
My wife hasn't had a car in almost a month, so
I've been there too.
There was just all of that. Plus, I just started a new job. I'm actually excelling at it, which, that shouldn't be a stressor, but success can definitely, Jesus, stop messaging me, people. That can definitely cause stress.
Oh, no, it can. And you trying to control it can cause stress too.
Exactly.
So if you're just not willing to let it happen, you're doing a whole injustice to yourself.
Exactly. And, and that was the crazy thing where it's just like, I'm not even thinking about the job that I'm doing. I just you just keep hearing you're excelling past where people in your position should be right now. You've only been here 3 months and your numbers are hitting some of our high ranking people.
Okay. So my advice to you, slow the fuck down.
But it's crazy.
If it don't come with a pay raise, slow the fuck down.
Well, I mean, and that's the crazy thing where it's just like, I'm today is my first day technically out of training on my new schedule and my regular schedule.
Dude, you just raised the bar way too freaking high.
And it's crazy
right out the gate.
Right. And it's crazy because I wasn't even thinking about trying to be where I'm at. I was just doing my job. But
that's good then. Right. You're not overextending yourself.
No,
that's okay.
Absolutely
that's
not.
Okay if it's just natural talent.
Right.
That's different.
And I think, because I keep telling some of the customers that I help on the phone, I'm just like, I have 10 years. I've been doing this 10 years on and off. Mm-hmm. So there's not much you can call me about that I haven't seen. And it's that kind of a thing. And I think that's kind of making it to where, I'm getting the numbers that I'm getting and I'm doing the job that I'm doing.
Do you like it?
This is probably the second best job I've ever had in my life.
Oh, sweet. See, that makes it easier and less stressful when you actually like it. Like, I don't like stupid people.
Neither do I, but I deal with them on an hourly basis.
I like my job, but I do like my job. That's the hang up about my job is having to explain to adult children. I don't understand the simplicity of having to explain to an adult like they're a child. I can't fathom it.
I work with these
phones okay. See, you hold stuff up and now it's charades.
I work with these. I activate them and I repair them for one of the major cell phone providers in the country. Or I shouldn't say major, but we're one of the fastest growing in the country right now. The amount of stupid
I can't see, before I even ask one question, the very first thing you do is turn it off and turn it on. I learned that from my IT guys.
It even says when you call in, please do not call from the device that you need support on. Can I tell you how many people I hear, oh yeah, I'm on that phone, or they'll lie to me and they'll say, no, I'm not on that phone. I hit the button to do what I need to do. Bye-bye, they're gone.
Yeah, because that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then it's just like, there are days when I'm too busy to sit there and grab their phone number off of their account and call them back. And then they're like, well, the guy never called me back. And they're like, well, you shouldn't have called from the device.
See, you're 2 years shy of you finally having your fucks being slowly depleted. Because I actually had somebody today that's been working for our company that has been trained on HIPAA regulations. Actually,
those are fun.
Well, that's what I do for a living, but she has been with the company for quite some time. And
for those that know what happened to me last week, this is zero sugar, so get off my dick.
I don't want to be on your dick at all. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So anyways, but she actually asked me, she sent me a patient statement and actually asked me what was the PHI or the protected health information on the statement. Now, she's been with the company for like 10 years. So I just sent her a link to the policy that shows what PHI is. And I told her, I said, here's where you look. And she laughed, but it ain't my fucking job to tell you.
Oh, you can say fuck. I don't care.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. See, I'm supporting a whole generation of women here. And I tend to say fuck a whole lot more these days.
Well, there is that. But the craziest part about it is like we also have protected information. So I'm not even allowed to have my phone on the floor at work because we have, credit card numbers, phone numbers, addresses, in some cases, social security numbers.
I've been tattled on for just having a picture. I was venting one day and I took a picture, a blurred picture, obviously, of our company policies and said, hey, this is what I do for a living. What are you up to? Somebody actually told on me. I actually had a meeting with my boss, who is the compliance officer. So that was fabulous, over social media. And that is why I'm not on social media anymore.
And that's the craziest part about it. I mean, it's like, it's 2023. Obviously, we all live on Facebook. We all live on Twitter. Well, actually, maybe not Twitter anymore. I think it's all heading towards Trends as of yesterday.
That's what I heard, is that it's basically the same platform.
It looks
I'm sorry.
identical.
I went to and now that y'all are moving, of course, now I'm on Twitter. Like y'all are all moving away to some new app, and it's going to take me another 5-10 years to get there.
Are you on Instagram?
I finally made it to Instagram, but that's because
you log into Trends with your Instagram account.
See, that's too complicated for me. I just want an app and an app. Like I don't even like my Facebook being connected to Instagram. I hate that shit.
They own it.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that I share on Instagram because it's a different audience than on Facebook.
Right.
And some of that is geared more towards women. And the only thing I post on Instagram is geared towards women. Mm-hmm. So I've got a special group on Facebook to do all of my women posts. I don't need Instagram sharing all that crap on my Facebook page.
Yeah, that's like, I pretty much like, I signed up for, or I didn't sign up for Trends. It just said, hey, because you're on Instagram, now you're on Trends too. And I'm like, oh,
like you had a choice.
Thanks. It's like, because I wanted to save Trends for the show stuff only. I didn't want
Well, that's that. I am very uncomfortable being out in social media, especially being the fact that I have done privacy for about 13-14 years.
Right.
I am very, very aware of my digital fingerprint. I actually had to do studies.
Crazy, isn't it?
I had to do studies for my job for it, and it scared the hell out of me. And I cleaned my shit up every 6 months if there's anything out there. I recommend you Google yourself. You use whatever browser, and you look yourself up.
And it's also important too, if you're looking up things that maybe you shouldn't, use an incognito tab or go into privacy mode.
Oh, so I also learned a fabulous trick that Google does. Apparently it automatically logged into my Google account when they set me up for work. And I Google things on my private life that I don't Google at work. So I don't really care that my work knows what my personal browser looks like.
Right.
So that's another kind of infringement on my privacy.
You work from home, right?
Yes.
Do they not give you a VPN for that? So
the VPN actually doesn't work the way that people think it works. The VPN is just a secure tunnel
to make sure that you can connect to your work resources.
Otherwise I would be in the building using the same files.
Exactly.
So the only thing it does is give me a secure tunnel into my network at work. That's all it really is.
It basically makes it look like your computer is connected to your in office.
And I can do things on my laptop at home that I wouldn't otherwise be able to do. The problem is that when we are working in the office, we are under a firewall. when you're working from home, you don't have that stuff set up on unless you're an IT guy or you're wise in how all that works. You're not gonna have that set up. So it's really the whole concept of working from home and in the medical field is just twitchy. I don't like it, but it as long as
you a company laptop,
they do.
Oh, okay.
But when you're connected at home, you're connected to your internet.
Well,
so whereas if I were to Google stuff at work, because I have to for my job,
right?
If I Google stuff for work, there's YouTube videos I can't get into that's work related because
they have
it blocked.
Mm-hmm.
So
same thing with me at my job,
right? So at home, I can go on that YouTube video because I don't have that censored blockage on my settings, on my security settings.
Right.
So that's the scary part is we've got hourly employees we're entrusting to do the right thing with people's PHI when they're in an unsecure environment.
Yeah.
One of the things I have to teach in class is if you print anything off hard copy, you got to be aware of your traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Because people can view your PCs these days. There's no real secure way of not having people look over your shoulder. So you have to be aware, even on your desktop, what personal private information you are giving people access to.
And one of the things that my boss always tells me too, whenever you get up from your computer, lock it.
So funny story.
Oh boy.
We actually do what's called we call it a HIPS week. It's health insurance security or health insurance privacy and security. And I have to put together a whole week of fun for it because it's like a privacy celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we did was a company-wide audit. And come to find out, our employees failed miserably at the fact that you are supposed to lock, which means the Control L people. Yeah, no, the Windows L.
Windows L. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is on a Mac, but I know that that's what it is.
They actually were just turning off the screen.
Oh, good job, genius.
Yeah, that's the secure way of doing things these days. If you can't see it, it's not there.
See, and this is why, and I actually do have a degree in IT security. So it's like everything you're saying, I know exactly what you're talking about. But this is why at the two companies that I've worked for where I do the exact same thing I do now, they would literally walk around the floor. And if you did not lock your computer, they would either invert your screen.
I had that done to me once.
Change your background to be something that you have no interest in whatsoever, or just do something.
They would hack the screensavers and type some weird ass message across there, like you have been hacked or some crazy thing like that on their screensavers.
My one trainer at my last job that I did what I'm doing now, which was like, holy shit, almost 10 years ago now. So I literally have been doing this for 10 years. He would always walk around and he always talks about cat videos on like stuff like that. So he'd always change your background to some like pretty pink frilly cat thing. Normally the chick from Harry Potter with her office that was all loaded with cats and stuff.
Yes.
And then he'd always put like lock your computer right meow as the screensaver.
Okay. That's just me being a nerd. I can appreciate that humor.
Exactly. So like it was always stuff like that. But
no, it's harmless. It's harmless, but it's to the point because we do actually have cubicles that face the main hallways and stuff.
Yeah,
and because of that, we have people that do tours through that are potential clients.
This camera is powerful enough for me to zoom in to a clock that is about as far away as that TV is, and I can get a number crystal clear off the clock.
Exactly.
So if this phone is powerful enough to do that, that's why it's important for people in fields like that
right.
to lock your computer because somebody can just go
right,
and they have a credit card number.
Well, we actually had to write a policy because somebody asked the question about using their own personal devices or phones to look at their emails. No, not company emails. That's proprietary. You can't use personal devices that way. No.
No. But the thing I hate is like for the company that I worked for before when I did this, we had a bunch of gear. So like I always had t-shirts that had the company name and stuff on them. I went to the doctor one time and it just happened to be for one of our clients.
Oh man.
And they're like, "Oh, you're the guys that work on our phone." And I'm like, "Yeah. Here, can you fix my email?" And I'm just like, "How about you fix me?" Like there's a 1-800 number for that, and I know it. Here it is. Would you like it?
I don't want your phone.
No.
Please don't give me your phone. I'm not going to do anything but hand it right back to you and say it's not fixed.
So he's just like, "Well, I got to go and run some tests and blah, 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 blah." So while I'm running tests, why don't you look at my, I'm like, "No. Call my friends at work and let them do it."
You're not paying me.
No, I'm not getting paid right now.
I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not going to help you.
Exactly. But I apologize. Nurse Ratchet didn't clean up. I mean, she left the window open. The exam chair is disgusting. I mean,
well, and there was you said it's hot as hell in here, and it's not as bad now, but
no,
it was a creepy, muggy feeling in here earlier. So you need to talk to her about that.
I will. I mean, we got windows open. It's 90 degrees outside. I mean, this is not
sloppy
conducive.
Work. It's sloppy work.
You know, and when you tell, you know, I
expect my celebrity level to be respected. You know, Lee, I come in here.
Sorry.
I'm being told I'm popular, you know, and stuff. And I have to sit in bloody chairs and shit. What the fuck is that?
I'm sorry. I tried. I begged Nurse Ratchet to clean the asylum up this week.
I expect better from you.
All right. Jeff said he's out and about and checking out the show. If that's the real Jeff, we don't know anymore because there's so many fake Jeffs running around the internet these days. So,
is that the new name? It used to be like Michael.
I don't know.
Now it's like, Jeff. Everybody's Jeff.
I'm not sure. Like, I just know there are a couple fake Jeff James accounts running around out there. I do know that.
See, I learn something new every day.
Right.
Make note.
But I'll refresh everybody as to what happened. I know my wife probably doesn't want to hear it again.
Sure. Megan wants to hear it one more time.
You know, it's crazy because like I obviously the next day after what happened, I took the day off. You know, and
as to be expected,
right? You know, they said you're off until July 1st, and I'm just like, thank you. You know, so basically just. I was fielding phone calls all day from my friends. They're just like, "Did you live? Are you okay?" Like,
right.
Like I answered the phone, didn't I? Like, you know, but
it's a scary thing.
It is.
It's a scary thing. And it's a wake up call for you.
Absolutely. Most definitely. Like that was the biggest thing about it. But when I went back to work the day after, one of my friends actually used to work at the other place with me is now here at this place with me. I never say the name of where I work on the air. I just think that's bad journalism.
Oh, really? Because I shout out my work all the time. You know why? Because I'm always looking for a promotion.
It's actually in my agreement, especially since like I told them in my interview that I'm a podcaster. Like that was like question number one in my interviews. Are you going to talk about your job? I'm like, nah.
I do.
Not in the way
not in the same way. Like I don't bash my job.
No.
But I do talk about lessons learned at my job.
I talk about things that happen at work, but I don't sit there and be like, man, this one bitch called in, and then I won't do anything like that.
No, I agree.
Or I won't talk about policies or anything like that, especially since something in the studio is powered by my job. So like,
well, I don't like to talk about policies either because I write them. That is not the sexiest part of my job. Let me tell you.
No. And plus it's a promise that I made when I got hired that I would not mention my job.
I can respect that. I can and some businesses do not want to be publicized. Mine is actually doing, and I'm not sharing it right now. I usually share a lot of stuff that they post, but I don't know. They're sharing right now certain people, like new employees. We're trying to get reach out to that generation by kind of giving you a little bit of titty bits on new hires and stuff. And I'm so old school that I don't know. I feel uncomfortable sharing my fellow employees on the internet when I don't necessarily want somebody to do that for me.
Exactly.
So kudos to my job for wanting to promote, healthy employee interaction, but I'm just too old school for promoting individual employees like that. Like I could see a team, like we have projects all the time. We have different project teams. I could see giving your snaps to a team, and including everybody, but to call out one individual just feels weird.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. But yeah, so I'm back at work and this particular friend spots me and he's just like, "Hey, you good, man?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I didn't die." And he's like, "How are you being so cavalier about this?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you want me to do? Dwell on it? If I dwell on it..."
No, you're supposed to go the other route where you're like health guru, because you had a scare. Isn't that what everybody does?
No.
When they have health scare?
No.
They go religious.
You see, okay, I will say this. Like, if it had been 2, maybe even 2.5 years ago, if what happened to me last week had happened, I probably would have just laid on that public bathroom floor in my office and let myself die. There it goes. Okay, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, we're back. But I mean, we were worried about where the money was going to come from for the wedding. I was not excelling at my last job at the post office at all. And that was just weighing on me. So it's just if this had happened, so yeah, I mean, even better. Because I was delivering mail, 2 years ago. So if this had been 2 years ago, I might have died right there in the fucking sidewalk in Newburgh Heights. So, I mean,
everything happens for a reason. I'm just saying, you were in a place and you got taken care of because you were in that specific place.
Exactly.
But weren't you also, one of the things you wanted to talk about was listening to your body?
Yes.
So the way I always instruct people, because I actually don't say anything unless I've done it myself.
I know we keep freezing. It's the interwebbies. I think we're being overtaken by whatever's happening down the street. When we go to break, I'll switch the routers.
When you're listening to your body, it's not just about shoulda, woulda, couldas. It's about, okay, now that I know that can happen, what are its triggers?
Right. And that was the thing too. 2 years ago, I wasn't having the same problems I'm having now. But
were you having problems?
Mainly just with my knees.
Okay.
But because I was delivering mail, I was walking 11 miles a day. I was drinking probably 6-7 gallons of water a day just to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
And I was losing 50 pounds a week.
Well, good for you.
Right.
I mean, that's good weight. That's not like, oh shit, I can't eat nothing, so I'm going to drop 20 pounds because of it.
Right. But when you're walking 11 miles a day, if you don't drop at least 20 to 30 pounds,
something's wrong.
Exactly.
Something's wrong. I agree.
Exactly. So there was that too. So now that I'm in a sedentary job, and I was in, I don't want to say sedentary jobs, but I wasn't in the best jobs before I went to where I'm at now. I wasn't, I'm still thinking in the mindset of I can eat whatever the hell I want because I'm going to lose,
Yeah.
But
I've been there too.
Right. But I mean, also the amount of stress I was under and everything like that, that's all of that contributed to what happened. So basically it's a Thursday afternoon. It's about 3:45 ish. I had just sat down in the cafeteria. I had just opened my gorgeous looking salad from Chipotle. Mixed it all together, started taking about 6 bites. All of a sudden, my heart started just pounding.
Oh, wow.
And I was just sitting there.
Right.
I'm watching Netflix. I'm eating my Chipotle, and my heart just starts. And I'm just like, okay, like.
Did you feel nervous at all, or is it just like an onset of your heart beating fast?
It was just an onset. Like I'm literally sitting there watching a documentary about Metallica. Because I talked about Saint Anger on my show last week.
Right.
And this documentary was about the making of Saint Anger. So it's just like, it falls in line. And then all of a sudden, like, my arm went numb. I couldn't even pick up the fork.
Wow.
And then my lips started going numb.
That's scary.
And I'm like, okay, this ain't right. Like, so I just like, I put the fork down the best I could because my arm was numb.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and closed my eyes for a few minutes. And even though my eyes were closed, I could still feel the room, like literally spinning like a hamster wheel.
I feel that. Yeah, I've been on one of those trips.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, this isn't right. All of a sudden, I got super nauseous.
Been on those trips too.
But so like all this happening at one time, and then I try to stand up because I'm like, I'm not gonna puke all over. That's the
finale, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna puke all over the fucking cafeteria. And so, like, there was a girl sitting at the table next to me, and she's looking at me, and I must have been pale as a ghost. Because she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I can barely talk because my mouth is not. I'm like, I don't know, but I know I'm going to go throw up. So I walk to the bathroom best I can, and my knees immediately hit the floor, which is probably mistake number 4 because of how bad my knees are. And I'm just dry heaving. Like, nothing is coming up at all.
Did you eat? Like, had you eaten anything that day?
Before that, yeah, because like
so the dry heaving was weird,
right?
Okay,
because like I have to take my blood pressure medication. I normally take it right when I get to work, so I always grab like some chips and like not chips, crackers.
Right, I do that. Wedges. I do those. Yeah, I go for the peanut butter ones. Yeah.
But these were like wedges of like cheddar and mozzarella, I think.
Okay.
And like, I just eat those and then I take my pill and drink it with water. And then I'm on my way to my desk. But so I'm just like, there should at least be water coming up because I've been drinking water all day.
Yeah, something.
And nothing. And like my body lost so much control. I shit myself.
Oh man. See, I am always afraid that's either that or they're going to cut my good bra. That is my 2 fears is having an accident when they're treating me or them having to cut off good clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just so happens that the girl that was sitting at that table next to me, her mom was one of the janitors in our building.
Okay.
So she's like, Mom, I can't go in there, but he's in there and he doesn't look right.
He's having a rough time here.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you go check on him? So she comes in and she's like, who's your boss? So I give her my supervisor's name. Next thing I know, the owner, or not the owner, but like the manager of our station walks in and he's just like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. I'm like, dude, I'm on my knees hugging a fucking toilet. Do I look okay? But I had the wherewithal because I know what the warning signs of a heart attack are.
Yes.
Where I'm just like, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Yes.
And he's just like, okay. And then next thing I know, he's on his phone.
Every single time I get a twitch or anything near and on my left side, I'm so freaked out by it because I've been taught that's when you start feeling the tingly, that's a good sign that something ain't right.
Right. And plus I had just started my blood pressure medication 2 weeks previous to this.
So it could have been a thing.
Anything.
Yeah. It could have been any reason for this to be triggered.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That's so scary. And at your age too, that is even scarier.
Yeah. So obviously they picked me up off the bathroom floor. They walked me into the first aid room and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I know I smell like straight shit right now. I'm like, but I ain't
worried about that. They just don't want you to die. That's right. That's their only goal.
But for me, that was like my big vanity moment. It's just like, like I sit there and I joke about the fact I'm fat because I know I'm fat. I see it in the mirror every day.
I feel you. I would not want to have covered in shit at work. This is your employer. This is not how you want people to see you at work at all.
So like I calmed down after the initial shock, and I'm sitting there. The ambulance got there pretty quick because this was the day that really bad accident was on 480. And I work in Garfield Heights.
So you got lucky there too.
Exactly.
Wow.
And Garfield Heights is always one half of Jess's cutoff. Okay, let me fix that. I think it's just the way she's sitting.
I'm trying to straddle two things at once. Wait, that didn't sound right.
Wrong show.
Okay. Moving on. So back to your heart attack scare.
So, like I was saying, I'm sitting there and
there we go. I just want to be able to look at you too.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're
so
good.
weird. Not
I know.
Staring at here when you're there, but you're there.
Right. So I'm going through this, and they actually got there pretty quick, considering because Garfield Heights is always one of the first teams to respond to anything happening on 480 because they're right there.
Right.
But they got there super quick. Ran my blood pressure. Clearly, it's through the goddamn roof.
Yeah, I would say so.
And so he's in there and he's like,
I'm sure you're probably gray at this point. The way you're talking.
And I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I don't know what happened. Like I told them everything that happened. And they're like, well, you're done working for the day. And I'm like, you think? Like, yeah, no, I'm going to go back on the phone. Thank you for calling. Mobile.
Please. I can't live knowing I have to go home after this situation. I just lived for this job. That's what they want you to say.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, my heart just fucking exploded, but I'm just going to go back on the phone and you go, thank you for calling. Well, this is Lee speaking. How may I help you today? That's the first thing in my freaking head,
Yeah, well, that's what they want you to do.
Well, I mean, this is the paramedics telling me this. Like, this isn't even my boss.
They could probably record your voice from the ambulance. No, they got you.
But yeah, so I'm doing that. And they're like, do you want to go to the hospital? And I started thinking about it. I'm like, you're telling me I can go home. I definitely want to go there because I'm scared. No, I'm already shitless, but I'm scared.
Well, and which hospital are you going to if you go?
That was the other problem because I'm right there in Garfield Heights. So of course,
I'm just saying.
Option A is fucking Marymount.
Where am I going?
Yeah, it was Marymount. They took me to Marymount, which I really did not want to go there, but it's the closest hospital, and I know that there's a huge accident on 480, so there's no way we're going to be able to get to Parma Hospital, which I don't want to go there either.
See, everybody has told me Parma General sucks. But they were the ones that fixed my infection in my eye. They did better job than Southwest General.
Yeah, so Dave said too, he's like when I had my heart attack last August, the worst pain I have been in, and I drove myself, scared as fuck driving there.
Well, not everybody's you, Dave. I can see this man having like an arrow,
didn't even know
arrow stuck in his freaking chest, and he's driving himself. That's the kind of man Dave is.
And I mean, kudos for him for that. And I mean, at least he had the wherewithal to get there.
No, you don't have to be a damn caveman about it. Have someone take you if you're bleeding to death. Jeez.
Well, right. I mean, but they like even they kept telling me too. They're like, we do not want you to drive, and I'm just like, well, if you don't want me to drive, and I don't have to go with you in the ambulance, how the fuck do you expect me to get?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they like to give you an ambulance ride just for the extra money.
But the cool thing was as I was walking out, because I'm just like, well, look, I have to grab my phone. I have to, grab some stuff from my desk that I need to take with me.
Why are you even talking about those things? You just shit yourself. You just shit yourself having a heart attack. Don't worry about that damn shit. Go to the hospital.
Well, I needed my phone at least because I need to be able to get a hold of it.
But they'll take care of all of that. You need to worry about you.
So
Megan, tell him he needs to worry about him.
So grab my stuff, went in the ambulance. And as I'm walking out the door, I hear my boss say, put it on them. Like, put
shit.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay. I'm like, does that include the emergency room bill?
How about that ambulance ride, huh? That's going to be $500 extra.
You know,
I don't want to have to pay either.
I ain't putting my life in their hands. I can understand that too, Dave said.
Well, I mean, the only reason I say that is because I actually owe the city of Parma because of an incident where my daughter jammed her finger and then went to the public library, and my ex-husband was kind enough to call the police because she was injured. And the reason why I have such a problem is because the ambulance rode her over to Parma General
for a jammed finger
from the Parma Heights Library, which is literally across the street, and then proceeded to charge me $500 for that. So, fuck Parma.
Amen to that. And shut up. Megan says she tells me that all the time, which she does.
Yes,
but
I agree.
But yeah, no. So I'm in the ambulance and they're doing an EKG because they were really worried that it
because they have to make sure that you're not going to do it again while you're in transport.
So
sure.
I'm on the phone with Megan, actually. Like, I'm in the back of an ambulance right now.
She's freaking out on you.
Right. And not to mention she's in the car with her mother, which wasn't really helping.
And then she's freaking out on you.
You know, ambulance rides suck and they drive too slow. I got
every bump. You feel every damn bump in them things.
The cool thing was, though, they actually put the sirens and the lights on when I was in the back of the ambulance, so we got to Marymount.
No, I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm just saying that you literally feel every bump in that thing.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
You're sitting on fucking fiberglass.
Absolutely. I've been on the gurney and I've sat in, and don't make a difference where you sit.
Right. So, you know, I get to the hospital and they have another EKG. They're taking my blood pressure. I had my light on, the hazards. Yeah. Well, there's that. You can do that, you know. But so I get there, they're doing another EKG and everything, and I'm just like, first and foremost, I got an ass full of shit.
Can you please stop triaging me and get me something to wear? Please.
So, you know, and they're like, well, we'll take care of that in a minute. We need to make sure that
this is way more important.
I'm like, look, if you don't mind smelling shit, I'm cool
so
with
much
it.
More important.
You know, but it's like, I call my mom. I'm like, look, come get my debit card, run up to fucking Walmart, get me some fresh boxers, get me a pair of jeans.
That should have been the first priority, is getting you cleaned up.
So, like, they take me back to my room. I'm laying there still with a bunch of shit in my ass. I'm calling my friends that I know can get to my house and get me clothes and you know, get my wife and get to my house and get me clothes and things like that. And they're like, we're on the way, but it's going to take a little bit to get there. And I'm like, I know you're coming from Parma. It's fine. Whatever. Just get my wife, get to the house, give me some fucking clothes.
That's all I think about right now, sitting in my own shit. It's fresh clothes. Could you just make that happen?
So finally, some dude came in with like a pair of like mesh underwear that did shit for anything.
Oh my God, that's what they use for the labor ladies.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Oh my God.
And scrub pants, obviously.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just like, okay, so is somebody going to come in here and clean me up, or like, am I okay enough to get up and walk to the bathroom? Like,
because they don't let you walk up. You're not allowed.
Not only that, but they'd already put the IV hole in me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm attached to an EKG. You know, so it's like, what are we doing here?
You're beeping everywhere.
Exactly. You know, so then finally, like, 5 people have come in, and not one person is just like, oh yeah, sure, the bathroom's right there, or yeah, we'll send somebody in to clean that up for you, or nothing. So I'm still just sitting there in my own shit.
Did you wish that they had 2 left shoes when they wake up in the morning? Because I would. If you got to sit in your own shit for that long,
2 hours.
They don't deserve to have their shoes. Really, they need to have 2 left shoes.
So the physician's assistant comes in finally, and she's like, "So your heart enzyme levels are slightly high," and I'm like, "Gee, I wonder why."
See, they don't take into account the actual action. Like, what were you doing leading up to that point? I know I'm under stress. Right. I had a damn heart attack here. Right, I know I'm under stress.
They're like, maybe not high enough that you had a heart attack, but you came close. And I'm just like, okay.
Still, what led up to that?
Exactly. You know, and so then I'm just like, okay, listen, you're a doctor. Like, I'm sitting here in my own shit.
I can't hear you.
This cannot be healthy. and she's like, oh, well, let me unhook you and we'll take you to the bathroom.
Oh, thank you.
So it's like
2 hours.
Right.
2 hours.
It was a mess back there, to say the least.
I couldn't sit in my own shit for 2 hours.
I had no choice.
Man, I wouldn't have asked permission, man. I would have been whatever I needed to do, sponge bath or something. I cannot sit in my, no way. I am grown. I'm not sitting in my own shit.
Oh, the bathroom they took me to had a shower in it.
Yes.
And so I'm just sitting here and I'm like, do I really want to sit there and try to scrape all this?
No, you want to just like,
yeah. So walked over.
What are those bidets?
Yeah, I wish they had one.
That's what you needed.
So I walked into the bathroom and the shower head's obviously attached. So I'm like leaning over the fucking thing and I'm like pulling the string.
You hooker, you.
I had no choice. But it's like this is why I have to be cavalier with it, because there's so much embarrassment shit.
Oh my gosh. I will tell you, I could write a book on degrading yourself for real, because you just put yourself sometimes in some fucked up situations that you can't tell people about.
Right. Believe it or not, we are at an hour.
No way.
Yeah. So we are going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll actually start talking about actual warning signs.
No shit. We're going to actually talk about the topic?
Yeah, we're actually
shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you had to promote the Women's Health Summit, when is it again this month?
July 30th.
What time?
11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Excellent. Peggy's on. She says, hey, y'all.
Hey, Peggy.
But yeah, so we'll be right back here in the asylum. I will try to see if I can get Nurse Ratched to clean the place up a little bit. But I think
damn time.
She kind of booked it out of here pretty quick today. That is why my bathroom was stinky. Yes. Yes, it was filled with my shit.
Well, now she can say you were full of shit.
Yes.
There you go, Megan.
So the song I wanted to play, I didn't have time to grab. So we are going to... What song do I want to play?
The one you want to play.
We are going to do a little bit of Bones of Giants this week, my friend Tony's band. And this is the song Echoes. And we'll be right back right here on Money's Crazy Mind with Jess Steffes, host of the Women's Health Summit.
I know I'm so sad. I lost
if the internet didn't start behaving again.
I'm sorry, I'm so mad. I'm learning how to let it go. It seems the man I thought I'd be is a stranger to what's become of me. And so I build these walls and lock the world away. All I hear are echoes, ringing through my brain. All I know is anger. Everyone the same, all of you are sickness. So tell me, have you no shame? All I hear are echoes, reflections of the pain. All I hear are echoes, reflections of the pain. The pain, the pain, the pain. It's not so bad. I lost my mind, I just let it go. Gave up on what I had, forgotten what I had it for. You can laugh and point at me for whatever reason you have for me. It only feels ease my pain as I build these walls today. All I hear are echoes ringing through my brain. All I know is anger. Everyone the same, all of you are sickness. So tell me, have you no shame? All I hear are echoes, reflections of the pain. All I hear are echoes, reflections of the pain. The pain, the pain, the pain. All I hear are echoes, ringing through my brain. All I know is anger. Everyone the same, all of you are sickness. And if you know shame, all of your echoes, reflections of the pain. All of your echoes, reflections of the pain.
Oh wow, that sounds really great. Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
Who are you talking to?
The Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters.
Hello, Northeast Ohio Ghostbusters. What are you wearing?
Khakis?
Well, that sounds hideous.
Well, they're Ghostbusters.
All right. We are back. Jess was laughing at our Ghostbusters video, which, if Matt, if you're still watching, I know Kimmy's going to kill me for showing that, but I really don't care. Love you, Kimmy. But yeah, we are back, and we were actually talking when we were on the break about, the fact that there are warning signs that you need to listen to when your body is telling you, yo, something's wrong. You got to take care of this. And I basically named off every single one of the ones for a heart attack.
Yeah.
When I was telling what happened to me last week. Now, I did not, by the grace of whatever deity is up above, have a heart attack, but I came that close.
enough to get your attention.
You know, and I'm sitting there and my wife is sitting there. She's freaking out. I have a couple of my friends that actually came out to the hospital too. And they're just like, dude, we're not ready for you to die. Mm-hmm. They're like, you know, we just got you back. We're not losing you that way. And I'm like, hey, I like I said, if it was 2 years ago, I'm right here. Fucking take me. But now I'm not ready to go.
You got stuff to do.
I'm not done yet.
You got stuff to do. If you're not ready yet, you've got stuff to do.
Right.
And that's what this was basically teaching you, was that you're not heading in the direction that you're supposed to go.
No, not at all. And so heart attack, we'll start with that since that's what almost happened to me. Numbness in your arms, numbness in your face. If you notice that your heart's beating quicker than normal, or
I would also add, if you're feeling
fatigue,
a pinch, or a ache under your arm.
Actually, I have the CDC's warning signs right here. And that just knocks us off. Okay, there we go. We're back. Chest pain or discomfort. Most heart attacks involve discomfort in the center or left side of the chest that lasts for more than a few minutes. Or that goes away and comes back. The discomfort can feel like uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness, or pain. Feeling weak, lightheaded, or faint. I had that too. You may also break out into a cold sweat.
That's a real big indicator.
Pain or discomfort in the jaw, neck, or back.
Yeah.
Pain or discomfort in one or both arms or shoulders. Shortness of breath. This one comes along with chest discomfort, but shortness of breath can also happen before the discomfort. Other symptoms of a heart attack could include unusual or unexplained tiredness, nausea, or vomiting. Women are more likely to have these other symptoms. Learn more about women and heart disease. Click on that.
Ooh.
Angina. Unusual, usually felt as a dull or heavy chest discomfort or ache. Pain in the neck, jaw, throat. Pain in the upper abdomen or back.
That's why I said check your underarm too, because that's where your lymph nodes are.
Yeah, when to call 911. Obviously for a full heart attack. Fluttering, feeling in the chest, palpitations.
Those buttons are sticky.
They are. Shortness of breath, sudden fatigue, or swelling of the feet, ankles, legs, or Jesus Christ, I've had that for years.
Well, you're just retaining water after that baby.
So risk factors for heart disease in women, and obviously these include men as well. High blood pressure. Having high blood pressure increases the risk of developing heart disease and stroke, or could lead to early death. Gee, thanks.
Calm the fuck down is basically what that's saying in a nutshell.
High blood pressure is often underdiagnosed in women. And fewer than 1 to 4 women with have high blood pressure, 23.3%, have their condition under control.
I don't believe that. I don't believe they have it under control.
This is from the CDC.
I'm just saying.
The CDC were also the ones that told us we had to stay in our house for a year.
They don't got everything right. I'm just saying. Women are more in denial about that than they want to say they are.
Right. Black women are nearly 60% more likely to have high blood pressure than white women.
Now that doesn't surprise me. Actually,
savory diets.
It's all in the diet. Absolutely.
No, not being racial or anything like that, but soul food is very savory.
It's just what you are used to eating every day.
Exactly.
That's your environment of eating.
Pregnant women with high blood pressure have twice the risk of developing heart disease later in life compared to pregnant women without this condition. In the United States, high blood pressure develops 1 in every 8 pregnancies.
That's why I said we're in denial. Us women are in denial of all kinds of shit.
Several other medical conditions and lifestyle choices put women at a higher risk of heart disease, including high LDL, low density lipoprotein cholesterol.
That's a big word. I don't even know what is that?
Smoking, diabetes, excess weight,
yeah.
an unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, drinking too much alcohol, stress, and depression. Well, the last two are no shit.
Well, the last three. You really think that you get chill from alcohol? Hell
Right.
no. You hyped up. Your heart's going all kinds of fast.
These two are shocking. Women also face specific factors related to reproductive health and pregnancy, including early first period before age 11, early menopause before 40, polycystic ovary syndrome.
I have that. That's a sucky one.
Yeah. Diabetes during pregnancy, gestational diabetes.
That one sucks too, because it's puts you at such high risk with your pregnancy when you have diabetes, when you have gestational diabetes.
Yeah. Preterm delivery, delivery of low birth weight or high birth weight infant, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy.
Yep.
So what other things do we have here for men? What can you do to recover after a heart attack? Physical activity, lifestyle changes, and cardiac rehabilitation.
So what are you doing, Lee? Any of those things?
I am doing some lifestyle changes. I am changing my diet quite a bit. And no, Dave, this is not the watch you got me. This is actually a heart rate monitor to make sure that I can watch my heart rate throughout the day. I am trying to increase my physical activity.
What are you doing?
When I'm on lunch now, like when I'm done eating, I'll walk around the halls of the office.
Okay.
I'm also working with some friends of mine that are putting me on a physical regimen that will help with my bad knees.
Do you sit a lot?
At work? Yes.
Yeah. So I recommend doing simple stretching activities because you need the blood flow more than you need anything else.
This also tells me when to stand up.
Good.
So every time even if I'm on a call, I'll just go, okay, because like I'm wearing a headset, so like it doesn't matter. It's not like now where like if I stand up, oh shit, helps if you don't stand on the headphone cord. But you know, like I'll just stand up and just be like, okay, yeah, and then I'll even like do stuff like this,
right?
You know, like some half-ass push-ups and shit when I'm at my desk.
Well, any kind of just blood flow movement.
Yes,
I had to learn the hard way with that.
Yeah, we're also watching our salt and sugar intakes.
Okay, don't make your food sad. Just because you're on a modified diet, don't make it sad.
No. I still need to spice it up a little bit, but I'm watching how much I put on.
Right.
And what I use.
So one of the things that I learned with myself is that I come from a long line of hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is when your metabolism, your whole body, your body takes forever to send signals.
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily, when you're hungry, it doesn't mean that you're actually hungry. It could have been you were hungry an hour ago, and your body's just catching up to tell you that message. So I couldn't figure out, and that's something we were talking about on break. I went through so many crash diets. I'm like a guru at this stuff at this point of what not to do. One of the things that I learned though is that with slow metabolism, I can eat whatever I want in the morning as long as I train myself that I don't need it until I'm ready to eat again.
And that's one of the things that I'm working on too, is it's just like, you know, when I'm at work, we have like a whole cafe of, I hate to say it, but shit that we can eat when we're there. Like 5 racks of candies and chips.
Oh, absolutely. That's what they focus on.
And then we have a full cooler of nothing but pop and Gatorade. Then we have a cooler with like limited juices and milks and things like that. But it's all processed.
Right.
Because, well, we can't keep the healthy stuff in here because it goes bad too quick. And I'm like, well, maybe if you had the healthy stuff in here, it wouldn't last long enough for it to go bad.
It's because when they load it, it's at least been on the truck for a couple of... That apple does not look appetizing when they put it on the wheel of death. I'm just saying.
So, I mean, that's tough. But it's like, again, all you have to do is just flip the thing over and look at the caloric intake and look at the salt and everything like that. And you'll be like, should I really be eating this or should I look for something else?
See, I don't look at that stuff. I don't even know what the hell it is because I was raised on
McDonald's.
Everything that was bad for me.
Right.
So I don't know how to eat right.
My mom was drinking Pepsi when I was in the womb.
Yeah, see, I had a chicken quesadilla for breakfast this morning. I am a bad example of don't follow me on that on my health kicks.
Well, I mean, yeah, for me, I mean, I don't even really get breakfast 99% of the time.
Right.
So like my first meal of the day is at 11 o'clock when I get to work.
And that's the other thing is the hardest part of it was breaking your habitual eating. One of the things that I learned early on is routine is so important with little kids.
Yes.
So in order to get them on a routine, you're eating breakfast at 8, you're eating lunch at noon, you're eating dinner at 5. Like that's structuring them. The problem with that is you're teaching them to be hungry at those times, even when they're not.
And that's kind of my issue too. I don't start work until 11:30.
Right.
So I may not be waking up until 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Right.
Depending on if, I took a shower the night before or whatnot.
Right.
And so I'm not eating my first meal of the day until I get to work. And that's just to have enough energy so that I'm not sitting at my desk.
Right. I mean, I have I know when I've had that last cup of coffee, like my body tells me, okay, we're good on that front. We don't need another cup. We're good. Mm-hmm. And then I have to switch to water for a little bit. And then I have my one pop of the day. And that's usually when I do my breakfast.
Lunch. Right. Yeah.
That's the other thing I had to learn. Breakfast is not necessarily breakfast. It's just when you decide
the first meal of the day.
Right. You just decide to eat after not eating for a while. That's all your breakfast really truly is. So even if it's okay that you don't get hungry until noon for the first time of the day. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And then, so I normally, I don't know what my schedule is going to be like now, but I would go to lunch around 4:00 ish. So like I try to eat just enough to keep me going until, that time. And then it's like, by the time I get into the cafeteria, it's like, man, I'm fucking hungry.
Right.
So at least I know I'm hungry.
Right.
And then when I'm on the way home, driving home, and my wife can attest to this, especially since I've been picking her up for the past month and a half. I'm just like, I'm fucking starving. Like I'm hungry. And so like, I'm not necessarily doing bad habits when it comes to that. But like, if I were to talk to a doctor, they'd just be like, well, why not wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning? Because 8 o'clock in the morning is too early.
It doesn't fit with your work schedule. It doesn't fit with your life schedule.
Right.
To eat at 8 o'clock in the morning. It just doesn't fit that way in your lifestyle.
And I think that that's part of what happened to me too, is I've been having to wake up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to take my wife to work because her car's been in the shop. So I think that some of that was...
that's just screwed your whole eating habits all up.
Oh,
your body's awake when it's not used to being awake.
But on top of that, too, you're right. I'm awake when I'm not. Yeah, and then I would go home and I'd fall asleep for another 2 or 3 hours.
Right, and that's chopped up sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. It's not diet's great, fine. Control yourself, learn discipline on what you eat. Absolutely. But there's so much more to it than that.
Right.
You have to watch how much sleep do you need? Right. I have just learned at 45, I need at a minimum 8 hours of sleep. I went through college, raising kids, working full time on a 3 to 4 hour sleep schedule for 4 years. I ain't doing that shit no more. I know what my body requires for me to be a happy, lucky person the next day. And nothing, I don't care what kind of social life my friends have, nothing trumps that for me.
No.
Nothing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'm in that same boat where it's just like, you know, I mean, especially when you're working and nothing against people that have physically demanding jobs.
No.
But when you're working a mentally demanding job, that can almost be more tiring in a day than a physically demanding.
I would agree with that. I actually started doing drives through metro parks after work because I just need that separation, especially working from home. I don't have a separation of work and
home. Right.
And that kind of is my go-to, is just that 15-minute drive that I normally get from work, the building, to my house. I will take that 15-minute drive through the metro parks because I just need that decompression, and I know it.
And that was a hard thing for me too, is separating work from personal. Even though I drive from an office every day home, there was still like that one asshole call that's just still
you got to
stuck
get
in
rid
my
of it.
brain.
You got to get rid of it.
You know, and I'm always on the phone with my wife on the way home, or I'm on the phone with, you know, Lisa talking about something, or I'm on the phone with one of my friends, or, you know, whatever. Like I'm doing stuff to transfer out. But like there are some nights when I would come home, especially if it's a Saturday, because I used to work on Saturdays, and it's just like, okay, I'm changing my clothes real quick, and then we're out. We got to go head over to our friend's house for D&D, or, you know, whatever we're doing with them that week. And it's just, there's no time for me to turn it off. And they've literally said to me, they're like, you're not the same person you used to be, because you're just, okay, yeah.
When you don't have, that's what I noticed, and I don't think it's selfish at all. When you know what you need to live life, you are no good to anybody if you don't have those elements that make you whole.
Right.
And that's what I've been preaching and trying to help women do, is you have to be your own voice, your own cheerleader.
Yes.
You have to be that person. Stop waiting for other people to tell you what to do with your life. If you feel like shit, do something about it. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to rectify that situation for yourself. But it has to be you doing the work.
Yes. And I think that's kind of, you know, I'm just thinking of different things that we can tell people to watch out for. Like, if you notice that there's no break between work and personal, you got to fix that.
Yeah. If you're finding that you're spending more time rushing around trying to be social, maybe you need to calm the fuck down and have a night in. Because I would say, at least if you are a busy person and that's just your lifestyle, you need to make one day out of your week your day. You have to have something to siphon all that crap out. That's not to do with your wife, your husband, your kids, nothing but you, to get rid of that crap. That's what's worked for me.
Yeah. And I'll admit this, because my wife actually just brought up a really good point, that it's hard to tell your mate or your significant other or your partner about some of the things that are going on. And I actually fell into that trap. God, what is it? Maybe almost 3.5, maybe 4 years ago now. I attempted suicide.
Okay.
I didn't even know I did.
How do you not know you did?
I blacked out.
Are you drinking?
No, I had just gotten off of work. I was supposed to get off 6 hours earlier than I got off. So I worked 16 hours that day.
So you're like delirious at that point?
I also had a cracked tooth in the back of my mouth, and I was in so much pain. And I worked all the way out in Oberlin, and Oberlin shuts down at 10 o'clock at night and doesn't open again until 9 o'clock the next morning. And it was Easter Sunday.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's awful.
Right. So I had to drive all the way home from Oberlin with this tooth killing me.
Yeah.
I was overtired.
Right.
I get home, and I stopped at the drugstore because I had to buy more pain medication.
Sure, yeah.
Open the bottle, and that's the last thing I remember. I wake up, bottles on the floor next to me, empty. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, did my cats eat them? Where
Right.
This was a 500 count bottle. Where the fuck did these pills go?
Right.
All of a sudden, I got sick.
All of it just kind of came
and they all just started coming up. My boss is blowing up my phone. Where the hell are you? You're 2 hours late. And I'm like, I think I just tried to kill myself. I'll call you back. Like, so like I'm
assessing the situation here. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. So I go to the hospital, get my stomach pumped, because I don't know how many more pills are still in there. Like I got home at 8 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 11:30 at night.
I look at that as a spiritual intervention for real, because otherwise, like you were alone.
Yes.
So you had no idea whether or not you were going to wake up from that.
Exactly.
That's got to be spiritual intervention.
So I didn't tell Megan about it for maybe 2 weeks because I just didn't know how.
Right.
And her and I were going through a bad time. She was staying at her mom's, and plus I was working the overnight shift, so I was never home.
Right. Man, those opposite shifts, those things will kill you.
Yeah.
For real.
And then I'm having to wake up at 8 o'clock every morning to move my car so that she can go to work and, all this other crap. Oh, well, she said it was a month. And, like I had called my friend Tony, whose band we just heard on break. And I'm like, dude, I need to get out of this job. Like, and I told him what happened and he's like, quit today. Like, you are not you. So, I mean, This isn't the first time that I've gone through what I've been going through.
Right.
And you would think I'd learn from that, but I'm stubborn, I'm pigheaded, and I'm a kid from 84.
You're going to keep going through it until so let this be the last time you go through it.
It is. But the signs, and she was pissed that I didn't, and
I'd be pissed too,
so.
Megan.
And
I would.
So. But at the same time, it's just like, how do you tell somebody, like, I almost died. And
see, I have the same kind of thing. My ex-husband's family lost their matriarch. The problem was that she had cancer and she didn't tell anybody, and she's self-treated with just drinking. And for many, 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 many years after she died, her husband was pretty much yelling at her gravesite on a daily basis because she didn't trust him. Of all people, you're going to trust nobody, and you suffered by yourself.
It's not even that I didn't trust her. It's just, for me, it's kind of like with the, being sitting in a hospital with shit all over your ass. It was embarrassing. And
so did you tell her because you were ashamed?
I told her because she needed to know. And I told her,
I mean, you didn't tell her for a month because you were ashamed of what happened?
I was ashamed that I did it. I was ashamed that, my friend was my boss at that time. And I'm like, I was ashamed of the fact that my boss put me in the position that she put me in.
Right.
And kind of like what happened with this heart situation, she got on the phone and she started cussing people out. Like, you need to stop bothering him. You need to do this. You need to do that. I did not need her calling my job and being like, listen here, motherfuckers.
Right.
Because I could have gotten fired for that.
Right.
Not that I'm not grateful that she would do that, but it's also the fact, like, this is my friend. We've been friends for 25 years. I don't want to put my friendship with her at risk.
Right.
But then at the same time, you're calling me every hour. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Right.
Like, I just told you that I think I might have tried to commit suicide, and you still want me to drive an hour to Oberlin?
You still want me to come in? Shouldn't you be telling me to go to the hospital right now?
Right. And then come to find out that same person was actually no-showed our wedding because she was afraid that if she was going to come there, she was going to object.
Who is this person in your life? That's so weird.
I mean, we took the, does anybody object to this union out of our vows? Not because we didn't trust anybody, but just because we didn't want it in there. But at the same time, she was going to sit there and tell everybody that I was cheating on my wife with her. You know,
people you don't want at your wedding anyway.
Right. And then like after I quit, like I have people that I used to work with messaging me on Facebook, like, you do know Penny was gonna. Well, there's her name, Penny.
Penny. Oh, I can't do it.
You know, but you know, like she was gonna do this because you two used to date in high school. You know, you're working with her again. She started getting feelings for you again, and she was gonna
stud muffin you.
I apparently, man, like I don't know what it is, but
your milkshake brings all the girls to the yard.
I wish it didn't. I wish it didn't sometimes. But I mean, there is all of that, right? And
so my what I'm hearing from you though is a lot of you allowing.
Yeah.
You allowing a lot. And the only reason I say that is because I allowed a lot.
You know, and
I had the same angry responses to these people doing shit in my life that I didn't understand why they were doing it. But I was allowing it because I never actually put a stop to it.
And that was the whole thing. I mean, especially with that particular job, I told them when they moved me out to Oberlin and they said, we're going 24 hours. I'm like, find somebody else to work that third shift.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
And that's where setting boundaries is important.
Well, you know, and I like, they're just like, well, we need to interview and we need to do this. And I'm like, then make it happen right now. Your ass was, oh yeah, it was. Yeah. At one of my jobs, one of my coworkers, got a sexual harassment.
I love you, Megan, but I'm just going to say gross on that one. That's your ass to be squeezable.
This was actually somebody that I worked with at a place. She was trying to write me up when she didn't have permission to write me up. So I walked out of the office and I'm like, fuck you, find a new closer. Cause I'm not going for this. Like if the district manager wants to write me up, he can bring his ass in here and he can write me up himself. And I'll still tell him that you can't write me up because what you're trying to write me up for is bullshit.
Right.
And so I stormed out, got in my car, drove home. I had a minor call me and be like, she just said that the reason you stormed out of here was because she tried to touch your ass because it was so squeezable and that she couldn't resist herself. Yes.
Okay, that's inappropriate.
I immediately turned around, grabbed that person, had them come outside, sit on the hood of my car in front of cameras, and had her write a statement. And I drove to our store manager's house because she lived right up the street and knocked on her door.
That is some wild shit.
And said, this just happened today.
That is some wild ass shit. I've never even had that happen to me before. That is some wild and crazy shit right there. And I have some wild and crazy shit happen to me.
I mean, you used to follow wrestlers around, so I can just imagine.
Just saying, there are some seriously weirded out people out there. But yes, I did follow around wrestlers for about 5 years, so there's nothing that can shock me at this point. I've seen it all.
I've been in those locker rooms. I know what those motherfuckers say to each other. So, I mean,
there's no shocking me.
Yeah, I did have to stop her from going up there. I did. You know, but I mean, it's nice to have a woman that will back you up like that. But yes, a lot of what happened in my life I is somewhat self-inflicted. And now that I'm getting to the age that I'm at, I'm realizing that, like you said, I did not take accountability for a lot of the negative that was going on in my life. I just continued to allow it to happen. But now it's to the point to where it's just like, I want to live. I want to turn my life around. I want to get
I'm doing
healthy.
good stuff for me.
Right.
And that's what that's the whole point of setting boundaries and being accountable and all these things that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is you're doing right by yourself.
Mm.
And that is more important than anything else you will ever do in your life.
And I think that's the biggest warning sign that you can look for, is that if you're not taking the time out to be yourself.
If you're exhausted all the time, if you're asking yourself, why do I do this every day? Then it needs an evaluation because there's something that's funking you up, that's causing you stress. Because again, I always say life is not a box of chocolates by no means, but it is a flowing river, and it's supposed to flow smoothly.
Yes.
And easy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not having an easy time, there is something that's blocking it. And you got to figure that out to let it flow freely again.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, other than, knowing the symptoms and knowing the...
Sorry, I have a tickle. I don't know what that is all about.
We were fighting a lot then too. Right, exactly. And that's part of the reason why we were fighting is because I had no life. I would literally wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, wake up, go to work, come home.
That's how
sleep.
It happens. It happened to me. That's pretty much I lived to work.
Yeah. And there was no time in between. Obviously there was time in between my shifts, but there wasn't time for me to just wake up, relax, have some me time, and then go to work.
Right.
Because of the hours I was working, it was literally wake up, let the dog out, feed the dog, make sure the cats had food and water,
right,
get dressed, leave. So I wasn't even eating until I got to work an hour later.
Wow.
And then it would be, because it's Oberlin, it'd be an hour drive home. And it's just like, I'm sitting there on the freeway on the way home.
I'm telling you, we beat ourselves up in our 20s and 30s for real. That's why we don't give a fuck by the time we're 40.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, when you hit 40, it all just slowly, by the time you're 50, it's all gone.
Right.
You think it's all gone right now? No. Those 50-year-olds, they really don't give a fuck at all. They'll just say and do what they want to do and say.
Mm-hmm. There was no us time. Exactly. Exactly. Like my days off, I'd be sitting there, and I don't care how many fucking people get mad by the team I'm about to mention. I'd be sitting there watching a Steelers game. My phone would ring.
Your first mistake right there. I had to say it for my Cleveland people.
I would be sitting there watching the game, and I would have my TV on the Steelers. Mm-hmm. Megan would have her TV on that team that plays up the street. And my phone would ring. So-and-so called off. I need you to come in. No, it's my day off. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I'm not going to sit here and not go home to my kids because you want a day off. Excuse me?
Right.
But I do it.
That's why your health sucks.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Right. That's why I'm mentioning everything. Like, it sounds like we're not mentioning warning signs, but we're sharing personal experiences.
It really is. One of the lessons I learned is you don't have to have that picture. Whatever picture was put in your head at 14, 15 years old by the last generation is not how your life has to be.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a wife or a husband. You don't have to be a mother or a father. You don't have to. And we were brainwashed to believe that we have
to do this. We have to do
we're
that.
obligated to do these things because of how our life is.
Mm-hmm.
And we are told that at such an early age that we believe. It took me 25 years to realize that I could have just been a kid at 18 and not a mom and not a wife. But I chose that route because that's what they tell you you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with you.
Yeah. Go to work, provide.
You're supposed to kill yourself for your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they tell you. As a man, you're supposed to kill yourself so that your family can be provided for.
Exactly. And that's, yeah.
And now you're realizing at such an early age that that's not true. If you're not okay, nobody else will be okay in your family.
And that's what it is, and it's like, and Megan, please back me up on this. We're driving home from the hospital that night. And my friend Chris is driving because obviously my car's still at my job,
right?
And he's just like, I just got you back in my life. You are not gonna fucking die on me now.
Kick your ass too.
He's like, I just got you back. I'm not ready to lose you again. And, our friend Jen's sitting right next to him, and she's just like, it's been 15 years since we've been able to hang out because of other decisions in my life. My kids just got you back. You are Uncle Lee. You are not leaving my kids. And obviously my wife is just like, we haven't even been married 2 years yet, motherfucker. Like,
I got a whole lot more plans for you. You don't get to check out yet.
Exactly. But I mean, like the next day, like I'm on the phone with my friend Erica. Hopefully she doesn't mind that I mentioned this, but she's suffering from hypoglycemia. And they just recently found another blood clot on her. So she just had to go and get that removed. Wow. And she's like, I'm going through a lot of what you're going through right now, where it's like I have to she's younger than I am. And it's like, I have to redo my whole life. I have to do this. I have to do that. And
so you had mentioned before that it took you a month to tell your wife.
Yes.
About that.
Yes.
What was it that finally made you tell your wife?
She says that is fact, by the way, about Chris yelling at us. It was getting downtime close for the wedding, for one. But for two, it's like I had handed in my notice at that place that I was working,
right,
that just recently decided to retire a purple mascot. I've mentioned them on the air before, so I don't care. And I started telling my friends. Like, I told everybody at the same time. It wasn't like I was telling people randomly.
Right.
I waited to tell everybody at around the same time. It's like, started telling my friends I should probably tell her, because if not, then they're going to be like, did you know Lee just,
Oh, and then you're dead.
Exactly.
Then you're dead.
Exactly. But more importantly, it was, we had been fighting. Our relationship wasn't in the best spot. And I'm just like, you don't think that all that hasn't added to this either?
That's extra stress.
Right.
And if you guys haven't been married that long, it's really difficult. One of the things I found out was it's really difficult to trust your spouse right off the bat.
The crazy thing is that her and I have been dating almost 15 years. So, I mean, it's like, there's not really anything that.
Then again, I ask you, because
more the embarrassment than anything,
because of the fact that your marriage is going to be tested time and time again.
Yes. And yeah. And she even said, she's like, I knew he was keeping something from me. She thought I was cheating on her.
Well, of course she does, because we all know, even if it's an innocent secret, it's still a secret, and you're together, you're one flesh. She's going to know when you're off. And that's just women intuition. We know our partner is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So, and that's what she's meant to do, is keep you in check, because you're not doing it.
Right. And I mean, it's not that I didn't trust her with it. It's not that, I wanted to hide anything from her. Mainly it was just that embarrassment fact. And not necessarily like, because I've been asked this a lot, and I'll admit it. People were asking me, like, were you embarrassed that you failed? And I'm like, did I really fail though? Failure to me would be dying.
Failure to me would be if once you realize the problem
and I don't do anything to fix it.
Yeah. And that's failure to me. Right. You know what you need to do to keep that from happening again, and you just don't give a fuck.
Right. So I quit that job. I got a job that I thought was better. And I knew that was just a placeholder, because I knew that this other position at the post office was coming. Okay. It just had a start date, but I needed to make money until then.
I feel that too.
So, I took this position. I thought I was going to get a different position, and that turned it out not being that position. And I'm just like, okay, you're going to fuck me, so I'll just fuck you right back. And, oh yeah, by the way, I started the Postal Academy on this date, God. And he's just like, well, what? I mean, this is literally what he said to me. You're too fat to work at the post office. You're a kitchen person, work here. No.
Well, thank you for squashing my dreams to be a postal worker.
And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, where's the health insurance? You want me to work here? Here's what I need. I need direct deposit, taxes taken out of my check every 2 weeks. I need health insurance. I need this. I need that. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I get married in 4 months. So I need like a week off, and he's just like, well, this is a bar. I can't do that. And I'm like, and that's exactly why I'm going to the post office.
There you go.
And I ended up getting fired, pretty quick.
That's not the point of the story.
But, I ended up getting fired from there, but he's always just said like, you'll be back. And he was right. But then I fought to get my job back because I'm like, I only had this job for a month and you're going to fire me because my performance is weak.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even give me a chance.
Right.
Well, you also took 4 days off to get married. I'm like, yeah. And my wedding had already been delayed twice thanks to COVID. You really want to tell my wife it has to be delayed a third time?
I wouldn't. I sure as hell wouldn't.
COVID, we couldn't help.
Right.
But this we could. And I think that maybe that was part of the other thing too, is I was working crazy hours because of COVID.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that happens too with married couples when they get married too early, they have to sacrifice their time because you have to make ends meet. So a lot of early young couples will work opposite schedules to keep the money flowing. And that is a killer, big time killer. Mm-hmm. It happened to me when we had kids. He was during the day and I was in the evening, but I seemed to be doing more than he was, so there's that, you just have that slow trickle of compromise. You don't even know you're doing it until it just domino effects to where you're at. You don't even know you're compromising your work ethic by bouncing here and bouncing there and bouncing here and bouncing there.
Right. And when I got this job that I'm at now, thank God I like this job, and I even said this during training. I'm like, I'm 38. I have done.
Oh, I'm terrified to go look for a different job. I've been doing this too long.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I said. It's like in the last 4 years, I've gone from IT work to working in the kitchen to restaurant management, and now I'm back here doing this. I'm done. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I am here in this building until you tell me get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if you tell me get the fuck out tomorrow, then thanks. Nice knowing everybody.
Well, damn. That would suck.
Much better moods when he gets home. So that's part of it too. Like that was step one.
Not taking it home with you is step one for sure.
Mm-hmm. But but also it was finding a job where I knew I wanted to be there.
Sure.
And I mean, just everything that they said on the phone interview, to the fact that the person that was supposed to interview me in person quit, that they called me and they said, he literally just walked out the door 20 minutes ago.
Right.
Your interview's in 3 hours. Can you still come today? We promise we'll find somebody. I'm like, yes, I'll still be there today, and I knew I had the job when I had the person laughing that I was in the interview with.
That's great.
And then they called me back like the next day and said, your start date is this date.
Nice.
And I'm like, that's all I needed to know, and that was after being told, sorry, we are going a different way with the position. Mm-hmm. Sorry. We don't think your age is a good fit for our company.
That was a good one.
Yeah. They're like, your beard, like I literally heard your beard's too long. And I'm like, well, I can cut it. Like, this is just a character for radio. Like, right. I don't need this. I don't need this either. I'll cut that too.
You'll cut the man bun?
It's not a man bun. It's a high pony. Funny thing is, it's like my best friend at work, because I made a really good friend at work. Her hair's cut the exact same way mine is.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah. Hers is green, but mine,
But still, you got the little baby ponytails together. Yeah. Aw, that's so cute.
And my wife just met her the other day, and she's sitting there, she's like, she's you with boobs.
Oh, I don't know. Megan, does she have the beard too? I don't know.
No, she didn't.
Okay, good.
She said she's been threatening to cut it off. But I mean, the fact of the matter is just like, again, I was willing to compromise.
Yeah.
To get a job that I thought I wanted. Then I walk into this place and they're like, oh, you do a Steelers podcast on Sundays from 10 to noon. come in at 1:00. You do your podcast on Friday nights. Okay, when you start your production, which is what they call it, production schedule, you'll have Fridays and Saturdays off.
Oh, wow.
They're like, then you can work the rest of the week and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't pick my schedule. They picked it for me, but they knew that I had these certain things.
But they made accommodations.
Exactly. And I'm just like, wow, like, thank you. And the health insurance has been spectacular so far.
That's sad that you think that that's, oh, wow. That's how sucky the work environment is. That they literally just threw a bunch of perks at you, and that was the ta-da. You know what I mean? And it's not. I'm not coming down on that. That's just the way employers are now. There isn't emphasis on quality.
Oh, there is here.
Good. Because that's the hard part is a lot of places are looking for warm bodies, and that they constantly are trying to train you to their environment.
My training class had 26 people in it. Out of those 26, 14 are left.
Wow, that's good.
But on top of that, I know this. Other people that I work with don't know this, but because of some conversations that I've had with my supervisors, 387 people applied and interviewed to be in my training class. 26 were chosen.
Those are good. Because I will tell you, just working and because every month I have to do a HIPAA class.
Yeah.
For new hires.
Right.
So just watching warm bodies come and go is just crazy. It really is. And it saddens me that we don't want to take the time.
You would think that with what I just said, that out of my training class, 26 people started, 14 are left.
Right.
That would sound like high turnover. But right after our training class got done, another one was already in the building.
Right.
And right after they got done, another one was in the building.
Right. It's not that it's a high turn. They were weeding out the bad fruit right off the bat.
And most of the people that were in my training class that aren't there anymore quit on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And now the reason why they've had so many training classes is because they're getting rid of the people that were there before us. But they literally said, our expectations of our people are so high. That's why we do these trainings the way we do them.
Yep.
And if you can't handle the 3 weeks in the classroom, there's no way you're going to be able to handle the 3 weeks on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And, literally like 2 days after we get on the floor and started taking live calls, 5 people were gone.
It's so weird, right?
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, everybody was just like, yeah, we want this. We're going to be the one training class where nobody quits. I'm looking around. I'm like, where the fuck everybody go? But then at the same time, it's just like, I put pressure on myself when I first got there because it's just like, I know this job. I know what I'm doing. I want to be at the same level that I was at when I was at the last place.
Mm-hmm.
I was a subject matter expert. I was on my way to becoming a supervisor, blah, 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 blah. Then I thought about it and I'm like, don't do that. Because you're just going to end up in the exact same spot you were 4 months ago.
Overworked and unappreciated.
Right. I'm like, let the accolades come naturally. Just get back into the flow of things.
I agree.
Learn their way of doing things because the way it worked there is not going to work here.
Don't set that bar right out the gate.
And what I realized is just by having the mentors that they had with us for 3 weeks, walking around, helping me out when I needed it. And then the supervisors that we had for this past few months of training coming to me and saying, you got this.
Right.
That's all I needed. And then I was just like, all right, cool.
I agree. But that's the thing that happened during COVID is everybody went remote. So everybody thinks they can do everybody's job. That's not true. Just because you work remote does not give you any more expertise on what you're going remote for.
And I can honestly tell you right now, the number of people that are working from home from my company right now are now being asked to come to the office because their work levels have dropped
right
since going remote. And that is the one thing that especially in call centers,
Mm-hmm.
you can't be sitting there and having friggin' Doctor Who playing in the background. Yes, I saw your shirt.
Yeah, I know. I wore it for you. I specifically wore it for you.
You can't be listening to Jodie Whittaker run her mouth. Oh my God, she was a horrible doctor.
I did not watch past 10 or 12. I couldn't.
Peter Capaldi did a great job. She was horrible.
Okay. I can't.
It was Dr. Woke.
Yeah. Oh, well, no.
It was literally Dr. Woke. They did a whole episode on Harriet Tubman. I'm like, you're British.
You might as well make Bill Campbell the next doctor.
So they're bringing back David Tennant for the 60th anniversary. They're bringing back, what was her name? The one that they had to erase her memory because she was like obsessed with him.
Billy Piper?
No, not Bad Wolf. The one after her. The one that was supposed to get married and then...
Oh, Amy Pod.
No,
Pod?
Before her.
Before her?
The redhead.
Donna?
Yes, they're bringing Donna back for this.
No, they should not bring Donna back.
And then after that, the new doctor takes over, which I guess this is a transgender person. So
God. See, they're getting worse with it. No, this is not when they relaunched Doctor Who. They did not relaunch it for the new way of doing it.
I did not hate the fact that they were going female with the character of the Doctor. I'm like, you did it with the Master. It worked out with her being the mistress. I'm like, but
no. And you can't do that after what they did with Matt Smith. I mean, they had this whole entire season of Amy Pond was his how did that work?
She was River Song's mother. Yeah.
And River Song was his wife. Yes.
Yeah.
So they were, and that's why I couldn't watch Peter. What is his name?
Capaldi.
I can't watch him because they went from young, old, and then female. Like, who's casting? Are you on crack? Like, who are these people?
I guess when Capaldi played Caesar on, I think it was one of the David Tennant episodes.
It probably was.
He was Caesar, and he's just like, I'd love the chance to play the Doctor one time.
So would so many other nerd actors, for real. Everybody's been pining for that position.
But they also changed the writer of the show after
that.
They did. Russell T. Davies left, and they brought in the other guy.
They changed the whole setup. I didn't like it. Like the whole theme of it is, even the intro is weird now.
Well, I mean, they're bringing Tennant back. They brought Russell T. Davies back.
Did you see the teaser for that? Oh my gosh.
It looks amazing.
I will watch it again if they bring David Tennant back. I will watch it again.
They've confirmed he's the doctor.
But I don't know what they're twisting it with. So that's the only thing.
Jodie Whittaker transformed into him.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember who sent it to me, but everybody that's real close to me knows that I'm a huge Whovian. Huge. I grew up with Doctor Who.
Megan says me too.
Oh man.
She loved David Tennant as the Doctor.
He was one of my favorites. I will tell you, I found Christopher Eggleston comical in that role. Just he couldn't pull it through.
And he never really wanted it either. No. They kind of like forced him into it. And I'm like, the relationship between him and Rose wasn't working right. And then then
David Tennant came in and it was like the perfect partnership. And then they destroyed it. That was the only time I've ever cried during Doctor Who was when she got trapped in the other world.
Yes. And then like hearing him go, I don't want to go.
Yes.
Before he
oh my God. That was so, yeah, that was sad. Why the hell are we not going about this instead of listening to your body?
Well, but yeah, no, I mean, we're actually into overtime anyway, but
oh shit. See, we could talk for hours.
Exactly. But no, I mean, it's like, I think we got the message across. Like, you know, like we shared experiences. We shared our own personal feelings on when we didn't listen to our body, when we shouldn't have. I think that's a lot of a warning sign, is just hearing it from somebody else.
A warning sign is definitely when you're denying it.
Yes.
When you're in denial about something. I ended up, after 12 years of never having a urinary tract infection. I denied the shit out of that. And you know what it got me? Kidney failure. That is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all.
Actually, all of this that I'm going through now started with something similar to that. I had a really bad pain in my kidney. I thought it was just a bladder infection. And then this was early 2021. So COVID still kind of, I'm on the phone with Teladoc because good luck getting a hold of an actual doctor.
Right.
And they're just like, I'm going to stop you right. I told them what the symptoms and everything was that I was having, like pain in here, like the feeling, like tingly feeling like your foot's asleep. I was feeling that in my kidney. A lot of pain when I urinated, things like that. And they're like, stop right there. I've already called your local hospital. You're going there under my recommendation. You might be septic. Go.
That's exactly where I ended up. I drove myself to the emergency room.
So did I.
I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me, but I knew something was majorly wrong. But that's also when I started focusing on listening.
Yes. And that's when I started too. It's just like, I got to cut this stuff back. I started doing the zero sugar stuff back then I got off of it. And then I realized, wait a minute, every couple of months, this pain comes back. And it's whenever I'm on a pop binge. And I'm just like, all right. I
had to do that with eggs. I can have eggs and stuff, but I can't have eggs. And I had to learn that the hard way.
So, I mean, this has been a long time coming. It's been 2-3 years, but
yeah.
But
I'm glad that you're doing much, much better now.
Yes.
I am so glad that you're doing much better now and that you're actually listening instead of blowing it off like it was just a fluke thing that happened to you.
And the day after, like I said, I was getting phone calls left and right. My friend that's going through the hypoglycemia, we haven't seen each other since the wedding. And her and I are like best friends. Like she's my sister. I'm her brother.
Right.
We say I love you casually because that we just do.
I'm that type of person. I'm a free bird. If they are part of your village,
yes,
there is nothing wrong with saying I love you.
I danced with her at my wedding.
Yeah, there is absolutely. I don't care if you're
married
married or if they're older or younger. It does not matter. If they are part of your village, they deserve to know that you love them.
She calls my mom. I call her mom. She's my redheaded stepsister. I will love her until the day I die. Her boyfriend hates it. I know Megan wasn't too happy about it in the beginning. But then after she saw us hanging out, she's like, I get it.
It's different. It's not. Yeah. Because I had to have a lot of those relationships being a military kid.
Right.
So it's really hard for me to say no to a friendship.
Right.
Because I cling to my village because I didn't have one growing up.
She's kind of been my accountability partner since we were teenagers.
And you always need somebody that's no skin in your game and that's going to tell you like it is.
And she always has.
There you go. You live the perfect life with that kind of friendship, you know?
And she's sitting there and she's just like, well, listen, I know we haven't seen each other since your wedding. She's like, I know you keep saying we need to get together. We need to do this. We need to hang out. We need to do this. She's like, stop right there. I love you. I know you love me. We just have the friendship where we don't need to see each other all the time.
24 hours a day. I have friends like that myself.
She's like, I'm busy. You're busy. When we have time to get together, we'll get together.
And it's more meaningful that way.
And she's like, I don't want that to worry you. I don't want that to be one of the things that's ruining your health. When we have time, we'll have time. Your schedule is changing. My schedule is changing.
And as you grow with the goals that you and your wife have for your family,
right?
That's going to develop and change.
And she's about to get married too.
Yeah. And then her family is going to be the same way, and that's just where I've learned over the years because I grew up military and I have kindred spirits, on all corners of the United States because of that. And that's important for even if you don't see them physically every day.
And that's what she said. She's like, you have my number. You know how to text me. You know how to call me. If I'm available, I can talk. She's like, but I work from home, so I'm always able to text.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, that works. Because I've always been afraid to text her when she's at work.
Right.
Obviously, I can't do anything when I'm at work because my phone's locked in a locker. But, that's neither here nor there. But,
right.
But yeah, no, I mean, in closing, is there anything else you want to tell people about what they need to do and where they need to pay attention? And
I would say just when you don't deny any thought that pops in your head, any feeling that you have, don't deny it, don't excuse it away. Figure out why you're having it.
yes,
There's a reason something pops in your head, whether it's a craving that you're having, whether it's a situation that you're in. Your go-to might be to go squat in a corner.
what are you trying to say, Megan? Because you did not say a sentence there.
So has our other friend too.
Oh, so has our other friends too. Yeah, they're just like, don't worry about hanging out with us if we
right.
Yeah.
As you get older, that's the one thing if you're not good to you, you're not good to anybody.
Right. But I mean, even she's like, you took the day off. You're realizing your limitations.
It's not selfish at all.
And I actually didn't get an attendance violation for taking those days off because they're like, well, you kind of had a heart attack in our bathroom.
Yeah. we're not going to hold you accountable for that. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave you money.
I got paid. I had to use some of my vacation time.
But still, they paid you for the day and everything because you didn't do that crap on purpose on their time.
Right. I mean, like, I'm walking out and like every manager that we have and every supervisor that we have is just like standing there and they're just like, take the time, get better. Don't worry about your computer. We'll shut it down for you. We'll pay you for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure I heard one of them tell the ambulance driver, put this on us.
Right.
Which
is nice. It is nice to know that your employer does give a shit, even whether or not it's for legal reasons, whether or not it's personal reasons. The fact that it was offered is still big.
I've had to leave twice because of health issues. Once with my kidney, and once I passed a kidney stone, and I had blood coming out of a certain area. And I'm just like,
that's for another podcast.
Right. I'm like, something's bleeding, and I don't know why it's bleeding. I need to go.
That's not normal. That is not normal at all.
Right. And of course, my supervisor, or the supervisor that was there, was a female, and she's just like, I don't go.
I'd be the same way. If you're bleeding from your pee hole, I do not want to know. Okay, it's too much for me.
Right. So, but yeah, no, I mean, they've said your health is more important. The phone calls can wait.
I absolutely agree.
So, this is Mr. Money. Are you half of the 4 men, sir?
Who, what?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Are you?
Are you half of the 4 men? I have no idea what that even means.
Are you a horseman? 4 horsemen? Is that what it means? I don't know. I've heard of the 4 horsemen.
I mean, no. I wrestled 1 match and I ended up in the hospital with a concussion. So
I know too much. More information about wrestling than I ever thought I wanted to know.
And this is like right after Benoit murdered his family.
Oh God.
So it's just like, I was dating a girl at the time that had kids.
Oh man.
And I had that concussion and I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm good.
That was, I will tell you, the late 90s were a trip and a half for the wrestling industry.
This was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So 2008, 9.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, it was, I think, like 1996 through about 2010 was the big
swing
of WWE. Where everything was just crazy and people were doing over the limits to get known. And that's when people started doing the jumping off your roof onto the trampoline because of WWE.
But I appreciate Nestor checking out the end of the show. Don't necessarily understand your question. So you got like 2 seconds to reply before I cut the feed because we're 13 minutes over time.
Oh my gosh. See?
And I kind of want to go home.
Really? No.
Yeah, no. But again, let them know when the next Women's Health Summit is, where they can find it. And
you can find the Women's Health Summit on Instagram. It's at Summit. How did they do that? Summit_Women's Health. I think that's how they did when I set it up. Maybe it's just Summit Health. I think it's Summit Health at Instagram. And then Jessica Steffes on Facebook.
Oh, that's how you pronounce your last name. Okay.
Steffes, yes. And then my Women's Health Summit is on July 30th. We'll be talking about setting boundaries, and it's from 11 to 1.
Okay. That's a Sunday, isn't it?
It is.
Damn.
I always do Sundays just because nobody else is on.
In the morning.
I'm pretty much that's what I come September I'm switching because that's when football season and y'all and your Steelers stats are taking up my time. So I have to combat.
Hey, it was our time first, okay?
I did better with it.
We'll talk numbers on that.
Oh,
later.
We're gonna talk numbers on that. You know I'm not gonna let that go, right?
We would get about 3,000 views a week.
Oh, damn. Yeah. There's that many people.
Not only that, but we also had the opportunity to move to FM this year.
Oh.
But we would have had to change our showtime. And
I would have appreciated that.
Well, one of our co-hosts is the host of Broad Street South, and he does his Eagles pre-games at the same time that we moved to. And he's like, I can't be on your show plus do my show plus help get you guys on the radio in Pennsylvania if I'm doing my show.
That sounds really complicated. I just wanted to talk about women's health.
We used to be on 7 to 9, and we realized that
nobody's listening at 7 to 9 on a Sunday,
right? Because football. So we changed it to 10 to noon so that way,
you do the pregame.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
I feel it. I'm just giving you some shit because I want your time slot.
I tried getting them to change it.
That's okay. I worked it out, and it's gonna be grand.
Yeah. But yeah. So July 30th.
July 30th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Redline Radio.
Okay. And that is a Sunday.
That is a Sunday.
And I will be at work. Or I just beginning to work.
Well, that's what's great about the way that Redline does it. Because you can watch whenever you want afterwards. So give me a view.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
I do every month.
Okay.
Because Megan likes it too.
Good.
So
yay, Megan.
But yeah, no, I definitely want to thank you for coming out and being a part of this.
I am happy to do so. I like talking to you for 2 hours about stuff that's important.
Yes. And maybe one day I can bring you back and we can talk nothing but Doctor Who.
That would be fabulous. I would love that. Absolutely. And coming this fall, I am introducing one man into my chats or into my podcast. So maybe you can come on one of my topics and speak out on it.
Megan said she'll watch that one too.
Sweet.
But yeah, no, I mean, this has been awesome.
Awesome. I like it.
You are doing a fantastic job with the Women's Health Summit, and we are so glad to have you part of the Redline family.
Me too. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So, thank you for coming on, listening to me talk about shitting myself.
Highlight of my Friday. Highlight of my Friday.
And if one of our mutual friends was listening, she now has some.
Oh, well, that's good. You know.
I don't know if she was or not. I'd have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm still terrible at looking at this while I'm talking.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why we put the comments up there so that
I know, but I'm staring at you.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I'm sure, and she already knew about it. Because our friends told her. And she even said, if I had known he was at Marymount, I would have come up and seen him.
Okay.
So I mean, there was that. So I mean, I thank her for that. And okay. So Megan said she didn't see her come through the comments. So
okay.
But yeah. But thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We'll do this again. And if I remember correctly, the 60th anniversary special airs in November.
Okay.
Which is convenient because that's my birthday month.
Well, I know that my kids who are, well, at least my son will be watching that because I got them. That's what you do. Nerds gotta spread the love.
Doctor Who 60th anniversary What is the date? November 23rd. So right after my birthday.
Oh, nice. That's right before Thanksgiving too. So
yes,
maybe I'll take that day off.
Yes.
In celebration.
I hear it's like a 4-part too.
That doesn't surprise me. They've done so many different specials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's like at least 2 almost hour-long or 2 different ones with Tenet that were like actual 2-hour movie type episodes.
The 50th anniversary was,
Oh, my God, that was so awesome when they did the different timelines. Oh, that was so good. Okay.
And they brought the wartime doctor back.
You better, because it's going to be another hour.
It's bad enough because Megan's already just like, you're not going to get home until 11 o'clock. And I'm like, no, it'll be fine. And here we are. It's 10:30 and we're still on the air. All right. But thank you again for being here.
Absolutely.
We'll do this again for the Doctor Who 60th anniversary.
Sounds like a plan.
I already dropped one of the surprises that we had for the end of the year. So there you go. We're going to talk about the Doctor Who 60th anniversary. Bitches.
Now you've been told.
Well, like for the past few weeks when I was at home, I'd had like Cybermen and the Doctor and the TARDIS in the background and stuff,
That's
like
nice.
hiding, and I'd interact with them.
Oh my God, that's funny as hell.
Like in the doorway of the bloody asylum room. So in that doorway right there, I had a Dalek.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
And then I would switch it up because there's something else I'm going to talk about at the end of the year too. So I had like certain characters from that on here too.
Okay.
I'm not trying to give that one away just yet, but like I would hide like little Easter eggs, but I would interact with them so that people would know. Like I had a mini puffed that was like right up against the screen like this.
You know, I went there with my weight loss, right? I need that alien. I just need the weight to just pop off of me into little critters.
Well, the Stay Puft Marshmallow, the mini ones from the last movie, I had all them running around the room and everything. Yeah. So I guess I just gave it away. But anyway,
you better cut us off before you reveal too much.
I might be broadcasting from New York. I'll just put it that way.
Oh shit!
When the new movie comes out
if
it comes out this December,
because
Sony already said we can go. So
but
anyway, but yeah, so that's gonna do it for Money's Crazy Mind this week. Thank you so much for being here, Jess. It was a pleasure. We'll be back next week. I'm already might have another guest lined up for next week, but the week of the 21st, Behead the Prophet will be here, and they are bringing their new single. So
nice.
There is that. Thanks to Dwayne for trusting me with that. So until next week, everybody, have a week.
Money's Crazy Mind is a proud Redline Media Group and nameless, faceless production.
That's all, folks.